Hey, Eve, what's going on?
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm remarkable. How about you?
I'm good.
Excellent. What in the world's going on?
So, recently, just to give a little bit of backstory, I am pretty young. I'm 20 years old. My soon-to-be husband, my fiance, is really hardworking man, very sweet, very kind. However, I've been struggling with kind of having anxiety about being intimate in the marriage and just kind of the thought of it because I have waited for marriage.
Okay.
I am still a virgin.
Okay.
And so I guess I'm kind of anxious about like maybe losing my identity or maybe it becoming routine and, even worse, maybe me even not wanting to be intimate with him anymore.
Okay.
So it's just kind of hard for me to navigate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're trying to navigate waterways in a boat that you're not in yet, right?
Exactly.
That's
right.
anxiety, right? We're trying to cast into the future and imagine how something's going to be like, and then we worry about it and try to solve it in the present.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked an interesting question that I'd like to double click on. You said, I'm afraid to lose my identity. Is your identity that you've never had sex with anybody?
I guess not.
I guess not.
I wouldn't say so.
So what would you say your identity is? That you're a good person or a nice person and nice people don't do these kind of things? Like, tell me what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, I would say my identity is, being a good Christian woman and being someone who really listens to people and is just, in my opinion, I've been told I give pretty good advice. I would say, I would hope I am. But
so what are you worried about losing?
I would say that.
Why are you worried about losing any of those things?
I'm not really sure, I guess.
Okay. So when it comes to sex, yeah, if you've never had sex before and you're waiting for this moment and this person and this covenant relationship, yeah, man, that's gonna be nervous.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna be nervous. Like, it would be strange that now if that nervousness begins to shut you down, it makes you apprehensive, makes you fearful or scared. That's something that then you got to explore and talk about. Have you and your fiance talked about sex?
Yeah, we've discussed it before. I guess I just don't want to be too detailed with how I feel because I don't want to make him feel bad, like he's doing something wrong, that I'm not attracted to him.
You're casting stuff
so
way into the future.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous for you already, okay? I don't want you to already head into this relationship keeping secrets. Or trying to hedge what you feel against what he might feel at some future date.
Yeah.
That is a track that women have been held to for all of human history. Your feelings don't matter. You take care of him. And just a quick secret, guys don't like, they want the person they're with to be fully present. Even if it's uncomfortable and they have to learn how to do that, it's hard.
Right.
And so, man, I did you not talk about it a lot growing up? Was your mom open with you? Do you have older sisters? Do you have women who've talked to you about this? Or is this just this black box that you're scared of?
I mean, I wouldn't say that my family was really, we're talking about it all the time. I never really had the talk.
Oh, geez. My poor kids have the opposite. I'm kind of worried about the opposite. We talk about it too much, probably.
Yeah, I got you.
But like, when you say like the talk, even that language makes me like, ugh. Because talking about sexuality and body parts it's just being a human.
Yeah.
Right? And it can't be reduced to a single event, to a talk. It needs to be a part of your life. It needs to be a part of discussion. And if you grew up with any idea that any part of you is somehow gross or not, like, you know what I mean? Like needs to be hidden away. Like any sort of you that feels any sort of shame about you, man, you need to get right in the middle of that. Challenge that.
Right.
There's appropriateness to sexuality that I think our culture is completely thrown out the window, right? But there's also a good grief, man. We we just can't. Families don't talk about it at all, and that leads young people, especially, to believe some part of them is gross or dirty or wrong,
Right.
and that's just it's no bueno. It's not good. Here's a deeper question for you, and tell me if I'm fishing here, if I'm wrong. But it sounds like there's something bigger than sex. Do you want to be getting married?
I would say that
No.
to the
Don't.
man that I'm with.
No.
Yes.
Just answer that question. Do you want to be getting married?
I would say yes. Yeah.
I want that answer to burst forth from you at 20 years old. Not you have to think through it and kind of hedge a little bit.
Yeah.
Where's that hesitancy coming from?
I think maybe my personal issues and maybe a bit of my past, just like being hurt from the past,
How are you hurt in the
I would
past?
say. I think just by other, I don't even want to say men because, these were boys at the time, but other boys, and it just makes it really hard to kind of gain back my self-esteem that I feel like people kind of took from me.
Okay.
So I don't really trust myself in a lot of things. And yeah.
How old is this man that you're going to marry?
He's 21.
Okay. What's the rush?
I think we both are those kind of people where we don't really want to be part of how the world kind of is always like, oh, have fun, sleep around your 20s, and we just kind of want to start our lives sooner than later.
That's all well and good. I support wherever people happen to be. I'm not going to be a naysayer on that one. Okay, so it's not about age. It's not. I'm not calling into question age. You are very, very young, but I'm not calling that into question. Okay.
Okay.
I'm calling into question your apprehension. Like, let me just say this on the other side. You're going to get married. You're going to get home from your honeymoon. You're not going to have any money, and that's okay. You're not going to be figuring out your life, and that's okay. But you're going to go with you. And all of those doubts you have, and all those concerns you have, and when you look in the mirror and you don't think you're enough, and those things that those boys took from you over time, that will still be there. And that's not going to be just turned off like a light switch just because you got married. And if you're already fearful of how your soon-to-be husband is going to react to you being honest and open and expressing your fears and expressing your concerns, so much so that you're hedging it already, man, if you were my sister or you were my daughter, I would say slow down. I'm not a believer, and I don't think the data bears this out, that one person has to be completely whole and the other person has to be completely whole. I think that's kind of madness, and it doesn't work out that way.
Right.
But there is some baseline. I'm well, and I want to co-create a life with somebody, and an understanding that this other person can't fix me, but that I'm embarking on an adventure to build something completely new with a new person. And so when I talk to a 20-year-old, I want them having to talk me out of my apprehension.
Right.
But I just don't see any reason why you can't say, hey, let's postpone this. We're engaged. It's great. But I want to postpone the wedding a year, and I want to do some pretty significant counseling together. And I want to begin to practice saying some of the things out loud that I'm terrified about. And I want you to practice as a 21-year-old young man. And by the way, at 21, I was an absolute stark raving moron. I was when I was 25. I was when I was 30. I especially was a moron when I was 35. Just now, I'm becoming the awesome guy that you see before you. And Kelly's shaking her head. She's like, no, he's not. Right? But I want him to practice hearing things that make him uncomfortable, and not running and not shutting down and not telling you to stuff your feelings in a closet because this is how we're going to do things. I want him to learn how to hear uncomfortable things and say, cool, how can I love you?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Okay.
totally. You kind of hit the nail on the head with everything you said, to be honest.
Okay. You feeling that?
Yeah, for sure.
When you listen back to this, your whole voice just changed just now. Why do you believe that?
Maybe because someone else other than my head is kind of voicing how I'm actually kind of feeling. It's very reassuring to hear that you can kind of see that I'm, in a way, insecure, I guess.
Well, every one of us is insecure, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's when we try to attach that insecurity to somebody else and get them to fix it for us. And when we try to quiet parts of ourselves or kill off parts of ourselves or deny parts of ourselves so that we can get some sort of pseudo assurance from other people. Because he'll like this part of me. He'll like that part of me. He does not like this part of me. And by the way, men feel the same thing. Millions of men know you better not tell your wife that you're scared of something coming your way. Millions of men know you better not say that you're scared about your job or you're scared about the economy or you're scared about your daughter or son or whatever. You better not. So a lot of men privately, like big fancy pants men, hardcore dudes, like elite military, tell me vulnerabilities the only way, and it's unacceptable to their loved ones. Right? So everybody deals with having to quiet parts of themselves. I just want to tell you, man, don't head into a lifelong, till death do us part committed relationship without both committing to, we're both going to be seen. Because that's what you're feeling right now, is me seeing you. And if he doesn't see you, he's not ready to be married to you. And vice versa. Okay?
Right.
Now, I want you to get a book. It's called Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski.
Okay.
All right? For some people, it's a very uncomfortable read. For some people, it is liberating and freeing. But it's the best, most direct book on sex, and it's written to women. And I think men should read it too. It's a modern masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. But it spares. It just starts at the letter A and goes all the way to Z. You don't have to agree with all of it, but it is good. And if you didn't have women in your life who are honest and open with you about body parts, about how things work, about how things feel, about how to share what you need, about what you even like and don't like, this is a great place for people to start. And we'll link to it in the show notes here. But Eve, I want you to exhale a bit and try this exercise out. I want you to write down on a piece of paper. No, I don't want you to use a computer or your phone. I want you to actually get a pen and a yellow pad. You may have to go to Walgreens or something to get something to write on, or a little journal. But I want you to write down, what are 4 or 5 ways you feel loved, seen, heard? What are 4 or 5 ways you absolutely shut down parts of you, or concerns, fears, dreams, so that this guy and other people, your parents, whoever else, will be in relationship with you? I want you to write down what you hope it feels like when you're 30 and you've been married, 10 years? Or maybe you're going to take a year, you're going to extend this engagement a little bit, 9 years from now. What do you want it to feel like when you walk in the door? Be really specific. What does that picture look like and feel like? And then I want you to ask this fiance of yours to do the same assignment. Write this stuff down, and then I want y'all to compare it and talk about it. And if he shuts you down and he can't hear it, that's his work to do. But I'm going to caution you on hitching yourself to somebody's wagon that has no interest in actually knowing the woman he's marrying. And vice versa. He gets to be seen and heard too. And those things that cross, those uncomfortable things, that's what we're going to talk about and negotiate. And some of those things will be there for the rest of your marriage, and that's great and cool. It's fine. You won't solve every problem. But every problem gets a fair shake. Every need gets a fair conversation. And we're going to start our marriage from that platform. We're going to go from there. And when it comes to sex, if you've never had sex before and you're nervous about standing before somebody with no clothes on saying, do you see all of me and do you still love me? Yeah, dude, be nervous. Be nervous. Talk to people who've been married for 50 years and now they're wrinkly and aging, sagging, and they still look before the person they're married with no clothes on and say, do you still see me and do you still love me? And hopefully the other person looks at you and says, I do. I'll continue to say, I do. Thanks for the call, Eve.